That's fine. Soon. Start streaming. Broadcast. Select. Of course. Right. No. Oops. Well, then, let's do that. Thanks for the heads up on that. Appreciate that. I've been fighting with changing some things around in here since yesterday, and that's where everything just kind of fell apart. So I'm not sure why that other scene had audio on it other than just the music. But again, thanks, Baz, for the update there. Yeah, so I don't know if you can tell the picture quality on this stream looks better today than it has in previous streams and even previous videos. For a while, so I wondered about the audio as well. And that's kind of one of the things I've been trying to fight with since yesterday. I've got some other options that we can switch to if we need to, because like right now I've got my wireless Holyland microphone plugged into the camera, so that there's less of a delay that I was noticing in the audio. If the audio isn't good, let me know, and we'll switch to either my shotgun microphone or my Insta360 microphone. I was a little kind of poppy. Not sure if it's just me. No, if multiple people are saying that it's an issue, then let me do this. Sounds like there's a sound level issue. You can hear it pop at the end of the words. Let me turn this down a little bit. Oops, oh geez, guys, holy cow. I don't know if that made it any better because I don't have any live audio check here, unfortunately. I don't know. I think I turned it down a little bit, but if it's still peaking, we don't want that. And I've got the mic where I normally wear it, so this is a direct result of me switching cameras, unfortunately. Oh, it does sound better now. Okay. Is it like, does it qualify? Hold on. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to shut up for a second. No, there was still some crackling in there, I think. I'm going to shut up for a second. No, there was still some crackling in there, I think. Yeah. Let me switch this over. I don't know which device that is. That's fun. Oh, that's the same device. I don't want that. Okay. That's using the shotgun microphone that's like right under there. So yeah, okay. So now we've got the shotgun microphone that's literally like right under the camera. So everybody's happy with that at this point. Then the camera. Oh yeah, that's way better. Cool. All right. Then I'm gonna take this off so that I don't forget it later. Cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for the help with that. Hopefully, there's not too much delay going on. That was one of the things I was fighting with. So for the last, I don't even know how long, I've been using the Elgato Facecam Pro. That's what we've been looking at each other on, I guess. And it's fine, but and I bought this because I thought I was going to use the Panasonic that we're using now. I thought I was going to use that for something else. And it turns out it doesn't matter if you spend $300 on a webcam, it's a webcam, unfortunately. So now we're back on the Panasonic, I think G4 DSLR. So that's what's going on there. Yeah, so I came out here yesterday. I had a meeting, kind of a chat, more of a chat, less of a meeting last night with one of the co-founders of Ice Whale. They do all the Zima stuff, Zima board, Zima blade, Zima cube. I chatted with him for about 45 minutes. It was a good chat. But prior to that, I came out to kind of switch things up because I wanted to change the camera back to the Panasonic that I've been using. That's really weird that Nightbot's being so aggressive. But I came out here yesterday, and a lot of you will know that my little recording space where I'm sitting right now is just a cordoned off part of my garage. We were gone the night before. The wife and I went out for her birthday. And when I came out here yesterday, it turns out that the kid had gone out to play on the trampoline, which is fine, but didn't close the door. Jeez, Nightbot's being aggressive. And so when I came out here, it was like right at freezing level in here. So 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, brutally cold. Like even like grabbing a hold of my trackball was painful. It was so cold. So I've had a little mini heat box unit. I've had that running for like almost like 20 hours or something. And I can't see my breath anymore. So that's definitely a perk there. It was, yeah, space heater. Thank you, man. It's been a weird action-packed last few days. And my brain is just not caught up yet. So, yeah, so thank you. Space heater was the word I was looking for. So anyway, when I came out here, I was immediately upset because he knows better than to just leave doors open like that. But he didn't. So it was brutally cold. I could see, I could literally see my breath out here. It was not good. But anyway, so I switched out the camera and then did some test stuff, so like some test clips, just to make sure everything was working and sounding good, that sort of thing. And I was like readjusting the picture settings to make sure that it wasn't too dark or too bright or blown out or whatever. And like if we come over here, like here's like all of those were from me yesterday testing stuff while I just sat here like painfully cold trying to get my audio just right. And then I noticed that my picture just right. I noticed the audio was off. It's just yesterday was a busy day. So thanks for helping me figure out the audio thing. That was good. I super appreciate that. But yeah, so it's been really busy last few days. Like I said, the wife and I went to the hot spring for her birthday. That's what she'd been really wanting to do for a while, so that's what we did. That was a good time, but we stayed in too long. Like we didn't get out and like cool off or do any of that stuff for way too long. When we finally did get out, to get changed so we could leave, She had a massive dizzy spell, almost passed out, so that was fun. And then I've been in a lot of pain since then. Like my bones hurt, which sounds dumb, but that's the only way I can describe it. Like the bones in my arms hurt. They have since then, since Thursday. So that's been fun. Sleeping sucks. I've been, and I think a lot of it has to do with just like dehydration and an inflammatory response to being in the hot water for so long. So I'm working on that. I'm trying to get over that, but that's kind of what happened there. And then Friday, so yesterday, we had to take the kid in to do his thing, and it was brutally cold. And then we went to lunch, and then we went and picked him up early because it was so cold. And then last night I had the meeting with one of the co-founders of Ice Whale. That was a really great conversation. Really excited about part of the conversation that he and I had about some upcoming stuff. So yeah, I genuinely, I didn't even think about the live stream until like 6:45 this morning. It just completely escaped my brain what day it was. So I don't really have a topic in mind for today. We've got the self-host newsletter that we can talk about a little bit. I was mentioned in there a couple of times along with Lawrence Systems, mostly for covering the new video that I did the other day for Dockhand. Really happy with that video. Really happy with the reception that video's gotten. So it's I failed, guys. I didn't come prepared for today. And then I was out here for hours yesterday getting all this stuff reconfigured. And it's not even good yet. Like I want to fix some stuff. And I may have a piece of hardware coming that'll help me do that here soon. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are staying comfortable with the weather. Again, I think I mentioned it somewhere in the like it was about half an hour ago. It was negative 14 degrees C, so like 7 degrees, or no, that's not right. Maybe it was 7 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's now it's up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 12 Celsius, and it sucks. So I've been kind of just floundering the last day or so trying to get my head wrapped around all of this. Jason says he's moving over to Dockhand right now. That's brave. Again, it's a great product, but with it only being around for about 3 or 4 weeks at this point, at least on paper, looking at the GitHub repository, I don't know that I would quite jump ship just yet until I see it mature a little bit. I considered it at one point as I was going through the review. But one of the things that I noticed, and maybe I'm just too dumb to use Docker, which is entirely possible. I was going to redeploy Tianji because I'm not really using it for anything, but it does have an application and a database, both separate. There's 2 separate containers basically, and by default the way I had my Docker Compose set up on that is that the database volume, or the database storage, was a Docker volume instead of a mapped volume. And I haven't spent a lot of time on it, but every time I tried to redeploy it, even though I told it to use the existing database, the Docker volume information for that database, it just keeps creating new database names. And I'm sure there's something that I can put in the Docker Compose to override that, but I wasn't spending a lot of time on it at that point. So I feel like it would handle a mapped volume better than a Docker volume without a lot of issue, but until I can actually test that out. I can't speak to it 100% as far as the efficacy of switching over to that with a mapped volume. So that's what's going on there. Video is being really well received. I'm stoked about that. And one of the things that I talked about with Lauren from Ice Whale last night was, thanks, Eric, I appreciate it. One of the things that I talked to Lauren about last night is being more deliberate about my content this year. One of the things that I discovered, like probably the last quarter of 2025, is that I kind of felt like I was in a rut, I guess a rut's kind of the right word. I was making content for the sake of making content, even if it wasn't something I cared about, even if it wasn't something I was excited about. And I think that came through in my content quite a bit, and that was starting to eat away at me a bit as well, because like obviously, if I don't care about the thing I'm talking about, that's gonna come through in my presentation, and then of course you guys, the viewers, are going to see my lack of enthusiasm or give a damn about the topic, whether it's hardware or software or whatever. And so I'm trying to be more deliberate about the content that I'm making. If it doesn't actually excite me, if it doesn't if I'm not actually intrigued, if I'm not actually interested in the topic, I'm going to do my best to not talk about it. And I know that sounds weird, but I would rather make fewer videos that I'm more excited about than just pumping out videos that I don't care about. I think that has been kind of the rabbit hole I've fallen down, is just pumping out content for the sake of pumping out content. You guys deserve better than that. The community deserves better than that. So I want to be more diligent about finding the right topics to talk about in upcoming videos. So I hope you guys can get on board with that. Oh, that's really hot coffee. Collins is here. Glad to have you, man. Mental says -2C here. Yeah, so cold in the U.S. and North America right now, as far as I can tell. I can only speak to my exact location, and it's brutally cold, and I don't enjoy that at all. So let's see. Okay. Let's see. I'm working. Oh, yeah. The mug. One of our friends got that for me for something. I don't remember. I've had it for a while. Colin says, I'm working with a 15-degree high right now. Our water line to the fridge and washing machine is already frozen. Crap, dude, that sucks. Oh, man. We've been fortunate not to have that happen yet. I have been fighting with our plumbing a little bit. So the place I live in was built in like the mid-70s, and the sewer line that goes from the house out to the main line, back when they were building these places, they used clay pipe, and then they planted a tree on top of it, like the dumbasses they were. So a couple of times a year, the tree roots infiltrate the clay pipe and cause a whole backup of our system. And because of the way they built the plumbing in this house, there's a drain in the laundry room, and if things back up too much, it backs up right into there, and it causes a disaster. It's happened a few times. But over the last year or so, I've been using a product called ZEP, which is it's like a 2-pound container. You dump it down your toilet and flush it a couple of times, and then the little crystal molecules that is this product go through your system, latch on to the roots and kill them without affecting the tree too much, which has been good. And so I got that part sorted. But then last night, plants and trees and bushes over utilities is a big no-no. Yeah, I agree. But the tree's been there for like 50 years at this point, and I love it. It's a silver maple, and it provides so much shade. So we got that part sorted the other day with this ZEP stuff. But the bathtub was still backing up, which I thought was weird because I'd cleaned it. I cleaned like all of the hair and the crap out of the drain. But it was still draining really slow, but we weren't getting the gurgling that goes with the whole system having issues. So I got one of those, I got a pack of those like long zip tie looking plastic things that you can push into pipes, that sort of thing. I got some of those last night and ran it through the tub, and one of the kids fidgets, because he's always got a fidget. He's always flapping fidgets around, but sometimes he likes to tear them apart, and apparently he did that with one of his fidgets in the tub recently, and it went down the drain and caught a clump of hair or something, and then it all just kind of balled up from there, and so once I got that cleaned out last night, everything's working really well, and I'm happy about that. I didn't think about 3D printing it. I've seen them 3D printed. These are like 3 feet long though, and I feel like you'd have to like print them in a spiral. I don't even know how that would work. But yeah, so it worked. It was the kit that I got came with like 5 of those zip tie hair removal thingies, a couple of brushes, and one of those like mechanic things. It's like real long, and it's got like the plunger on it that's got the little grabby hand that comes out and grabs things and pulls it. I got that whole kit for like $6. So yeah, no, I was really happy to get it, and it was same day delivery, so it wasn't too bad. I managed to get everything cleared out last night, and that's given me a little sigh of relief. Yeah, as a homeowner, you learn to be a plumber, electrician, IT support. Yeah, I'm not a homeowner though. I rent. So I still do all of that though, to the best of my ability. I've lived here in this house for like 13 years now. I've been renting this place for 13 years now, which I hate saying out loud, but it's the truth. But I've got a really good relationship with the owner. And so if it's less than a couple $100, I just take care of it. Anything more than that, I reach out to him. We have a conversation about it. And it's been fine, but yeah, I still try to do as much of what I can, partially because I enjoy doing it, and partially because I hate waiting for people to come out and fix stuff. You know, like we've had situations where, you know, the plumbing got infiltrated by the roots, like I mentioned a minute ago, and the plumbers were like, yeah, we can't get there for like 3 days. It's like, cool, I can't not poop for 3 days. So yeah, I've been trying to do the ZEP stuff to kill the roots as they infiltrate, and it's been working pretty well. But yeah, so that's kind of been my last several days, and it's been, we don't usually have like that much going on, which I know doesn't sound like that much, but when you've got so little going on most of the time, even a couple of like kind of busy days, it seems like a lot. And it's weird to put it in my own perspective for myself like that. But it's been overall good. Got a lot done. So yeah, that's kind of been how things have gone for me for the last little bit. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking through the self-host newsletter. This is from yesterday. This came out. I actually messaged or retweeted or whatever on social media. Ethan over here on the self-host newsletter said, unrelatedly, but on the topic of icons, Self-host slash icons officially hit 100 million plus monthly requests this week. That is so many requests. I don't know how Ethan is hosting this. I don't know if this is on like his own Homelab or what. I mean, obviously icons aren't going to take up a lot of bandwidth, but 100 million requests a month is a lot. So good on him for building something so very popular. So if you're using any of the icons over here from Self-Host, you are part of 100 million requests a month, and he's got so many in here. It just goes on seemingly forever. I can't imagine how much effort he's put into this since he launched it. I'd love to know more about this and kind of what the back end of this looks like. I would be genuinely curious about kind of the back end of this. HBO, wow, it's even some HBO stuff in there. That's funny. But I love that it's SVG, PNG, and WebP. And yeah, he's quick to add the new stuff. It just, like, we've been scrolling for a minute and we're only halfway-ish there. Like, we're up to the M's now, which would be halfway. You need to get a metal drain auger to cut out the roots and blockages from the pipe since it's rotating. Yeah, and that's typically what they do. The problem is with our... when they plumbed our house, like when they put all the plumbing together and whatnot, like they didn't put a clean out spot anywhere in the system, or not anywhere that's easy to get to. There might be one under the house, but getting one of those augers down there sucks. And I know that because I helped a plumber do it once. So the way it's currently, the way they have to get to that line is to remove our toilet, go through the drain. It actually goes up into the wall just a little bit, or it kind of has an upward thing, and then it kind of does a 45-degree thing off to the right, and then it goes down and out. So, and I have to explain that to every new plumber that comes here, that when they did it, they did a really dumb job of building the plumbing to get out to that. So it's a big fiasco. There was one time, I think I was still in the hospital in 2016 where that happened, and they ended up having to go through the vent on the roof, and that meant they had to delay it a day because they needed an extra person, because that's a two-man job for most plumbers for safety reasons. Yeah, it's really dumb. I hate it. But like our neighbor next door had a similar issue with hers, and ended up having to get a loan to have them come in, and she finally had them put a clean out in the system. The problem is they put it in her front yard, which was dumb. And then unfortunately she passed away a few months later. But I think that the replumb job that they did cost her 10 or 15 grand to get a clean out installed, basically. I mean, they fixed a couple of other things along the way, but they had to dig up all of the line from the house out to the road, and re-slope everything appropriately. And that they did a lot of work, but I don't think the guy that owns this place wants to do that. And I don't want them to do that, because if they do that, they'll have to cut up the front yard, and we may lose the tree. And I don't want to lose the tree. I really like our tree, and I don't want to lose it. So, it's been a fiasco for years. I just learned about the ZEP root stuff about a year ago, year and a half ago. I've done 3 treatments now. You're supposed to do them like every 6 to 12 months, because and you shouldn't do them more than that because they're so corrosive. So yeah, no, I've been doing it about every 6 months or so, and it's been working pretty well. We haven't had to have a plumber out since I started doing that. So yeah, it can be expensive to fix. Colin says being a homeowner is so expensive. We probably added about $25,000 to $50,000 of cost when we did a renovation job, just fixing stuff that was poorly done in the past. I believe that. That sucks. That's so much money to not expect to have to pay. So I don't envy that at all. Rental says also raise rent. I've been very, very fortunate with my situation. My rent in the last 13 years has only gone up about $450. So I've been very, very fortunate. And part of that is the relationship that we've got. Again, I do most of the maintenance around the house. Like I don't mind doing it. It kind of gives me that macho feeling of accomplishment. But it also helps him save some money as well. So it's a good relationship. He only raises my rent every once in a while. Again, like $450 over 13 years is really good. So Colin says, I do something similar to help clean out any of the oil that's down the kitchen drain. We use an enzyme that breaks it all down, but really, really avoid pouring it. Yeah, no, it's so corrosive. But sometimes it's what you got to do. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm glad the plumbing's fixed. Kind of back to a status quo where I don't have to worry about running the dishwasher or the washer, taking a shower, or flushing the toilet. You know, we've had all of those things flood our laundry room, which is right next to the kitchen, and that sucks even more. But it's been good. It's been nice to have all that stuff fixed. So, yeah. So again, if you're using the icons over here at the self-host website, you're part of 100 million pulls per month, requests per month, and that's amazing. I'm really stoked for Ethan about that. What kind of leak sensors do you use? You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I've considered getting some just to put in that area. The problem is that even if I put a leak sensor in, it wouldn't fix anything. It would let me know, but by the time we would get an overflow where a leak sensor would pick it up, I've already been aware of the issue for a few days, so I'm neurotically doing things to make it better. Because what'll happen, right? If I've learned that if there's going to be an issue, we will actually hear the drain gurgle, because of the venting and whatnot. It's releasing air back into the system, so we'll actually hear it gurgle. And if it gurgles consistently for a couple of days, we know that something is about to go off, and we make accommodations for it at that point. Or this time, I was able to just drop some ZEP through the toilet and flush it a couple of times, and then within about 3 days, it was back to normal. It was good. So, as much as I like the idea of adding another sensor to add to Home Assistant to notify me of that, my neuroses won't let me not pay attention to that when I know something's coming. So, in fact, we were looking at sensors in the stream last week. We were actually looking at leak sensors. Yeah, gurgling is the pre-leak sensor. It's exactly right, man. So yeah, no. Once we hear that, we know that we've got a very short amount of time to take action before all hell breaks loose. So, yeah. So it's all under control for right now. I actually need to message the landlord to let him know that everything should be good to go at this point. I'm excited about that. Let's jump over here. Let's see. In this past December, I featured a new document management platform called DocHand in the new software section of the newsletter. At the time, I mentally wrote off the project for several reasons. Not only is the market full of these platforms, but the project's low-res icon is a bit off-putting, and its repo features an AI disclaimer. which reminds me of the old trend where people thought posting "Facebook is required to respect my privacy" actually meant Facebook was legally obligated to respect their privacy. Yep. Needless to say, I was a bit surprised when it popped up in several places across the community this week, most notably from DB Tech and Lawrence Systems over on YouTube. And I appreciate that that he linked to both of those videos. That's great. Yeah, I don't know that I'm ready to switch to Dockhand at this point. Again, I thought about it, but I think I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing for right now. I will say that I recently got all of my Watchtower stuff switched over to a fork of the container version that's being actively maintained. So I'm still getting notifications and that sort of thing for when my containers need updates. So that's good. If you're still using Watchtower, it's probably best to get away from the container version. Watchtower. Yeah, so there's this one, which is this post about about Watchtower from Container, where December 17th they've archived this, so they're not doing any more updates. This one is done, but I am using Watchtower, the Nick Fetter version. Maybe you got a link over to here. And this, you can see this was updated 3 days ago, and they've been actively developing, working on this. So if you're using the official, the original version of Watchtower, definitely consider updating to the Nick Fetter version. And actually, what's cool about it is that if you've already got your Docker Compose up and running with the container version, you can just swap out the image name and everything just keeps working. It's great. I had no issues getting switched over by just swapping out the container name on that. So that's been going really well. But yeah, I don't think I'm quite ready to switch over to Dockhand, at least for right now. Not until I see it gain a bit more maturity in updates and general maintenance. I don't want to see a situation like Dockage or Dodge or Docge or whatever it's called, which was great and I loved it, but it hasn't received an update in like 10 months now, 9 or 10 months, which is unfortunate, because I really like what Louis Lamb and his cohorts do when they build a project. But yeah, the last release was March 30th of 2025. So it's like this. Some of this was updated recently-ish, but it was just a shame to see this kind of get backburnered for Uptime Kuma version 2. I get a lot of updates about Uptime Kuma via email because I'm watching that project, but it's still, I don't know. I'm apprehensive to switch management platforms until I see a bit of maturity in the project. As much as I liked Dockage, and I thought about switching to it, I'm kind of glad I didn't. So that's that. Yeah, sad when stuff you like gets shelved. It absolutely is. I've seen that happen a few different times where there's a project that I'm really, really interested in, and it has a very short shelf life. I want to see Dockhand. I just want to see kind of what happens here. Nice, interesting. Oh, there he is. That's weird. Tom's video has so many more views than mine. His should be up higher. I think mine just hit 10K this morning. Like Lawrence Systems should be up here. Maybe it's because I'm logged in. Maybe that's what it is. Let's try doing this. Okay, I was getting skewed results there. Getting much different things, and I'm glad to see that they're both right there now. But again, his should be above mine. His video is half the time and has more views. So I don't know. if something happens to Doc, I hope Arcane is still around, still somewhat new. Yeah, you know, Arcane Docker management. Good evening to you as well. I got 10:30 in the morning, but with Italy being like 7 hours ahead, glad to have you here. Yeah, Arcane. Arcane is actively being developed. I'm stoked to see that. They've had 54 releases. You know, some of this was updated yesterday, so I'm really glad to see that. We actually did a live stream on Arcane several months ago. I'm looking over here to see when this was. May 10th of 2025. And I've only done the live stream on it. So I'm thinking that I may do a dedicated video on it just because I haven't yet. I know it looks like their logo has changed a little bit. Yeah, their logo has changed a bit from when I looked at it, or when we looked at it on live stream 7 months ago, 8 months ago. It looks really good, man. It really, really does. Let's see. Oh, you're using it as your daily driver. That's awesome. I really want to. I think I want to give it another look just to see. I think this is another one of those things that probably deserves some attention. I need to reinstall it, kind of get familiar with it again. Mirandy's here. Glad to have you, man. There's a lot of really great Docker management options. I just can't bring myself to switch off of Portainer Business Edition. Yeah, I believe that. Arcane Docker Management. Let's see. Arcane Docker. Brandon. Oops. I want to see. Is that virtualization how-to? Yeah. Okay. I didn't actually know who the creator behind that was. So that's cool. I should know that their stuff comes up in my like my Google feed a lot. Like virtualization how-to spends a lot of time in my feed. I just didn't know that his name was Brandon Lee, so I learned something today. Also using Arcane, but still running Portainer at the side. Peter says I had to step away for a bit. Am I the only one who experienced some experiencing AV sync issues? I don't know. We had a clear bill of health earlier. I hope everything is good. No sync issues for Collins. Glad to know that. There's a middle way between Dockage and Portainer, Cloudflare tunnel, or HE electric IPv manual 6 configuration. Oh, I would much rather do Cloudflare tunnels than an IPv6 anything. Still much more developed, as at least it seems. Yeah, I mean with that many releases, I wonder like if we looked at this in May of last year. So if we scroll like all the way to the bottom and go to page 6, so April 21st of last year was their first release. So it's been about 8 or 9 months, I guess, since it's been out. But I'm glad to see that they're still maintaining things. So that's really good. Yeah, I'm sorry if there's any kind of a delay. I'm doing what I can, guys. I'm really hoping that the new device that I've got that should be here soon will allow me to have have more of an ability to plug things in. The problem that I've got here is the Minis Forum mini PC that I'm using only has like 4 USB ports on it. So I've got some stuff plugged directly into the device, but I've got a couple of things plugged into a dock, and then from there I had to break that out even further. But yeah, I'm gonna have to figure something else out because I really want to use this camera, but it seems like when when we were using the wireless camera, there was some static in the audio, which sucks. So I'll have to get it figured out. Yeah, just close your eyes and listen. There you go. There's not much to look at here anyway. What is this? Is that? Oh, okay. But I think I'm gonna do a video on Arcane here soon, just to see what that's like. Now, I'm not gonna have any memory of what we did in the live stream, and even I don't want to watch. Even I don't want to watch my live stream. That's that old. Sync is spot on. That's interesting, huh? Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had a better answer. I don't even know how old or how long this video is. Can I do that? 2 hours and 12 minutes for that Arcane live stream. And even I don't want to listen to me for that long. So may give that another look at some point. At some point, I'd also like to look at Komodo, just because, you know, it's kind of a big contender as well. We did a live stream on that, I think, at some point, but Komodo. Yeah, we did a live stream on that one. Gosh, when that was June of 2025 when we did Komodo. I don't remember. I don't remember if Komodo is. I guess it's just a Docker management thing. For some reason, I thought that there was some sort of a reverse proxy built into it, because I remember one of the issues that I was having was getting SSLs to automatically re-up when it was necessary, but I don't know. I don't remember why I thought that. So I may have to give Komodo another look for as far as like a dedicated video, even though dozens of other people have already made that content within the last year or so. It's very on brand for DB Tech to be very far behind the curve as far as topics are concerned. Nighthawk's here, glad to have you, man. No, he just made it to the live stream. So that's all that was. He just made it. Just got here. What else? We got some media management stuff for comics and manga and that sort of manga. I don't know if it's manga or manga. I've heard it both. I guess it just kind of depends. ADHD Entertainment says, good morning from Philly. How's everyone staying safe? Yeah, man, it's cold. It's cold, man. I hope you're also being safe, being warm. Being first is all well and good, but being thorough and accurate, etc., is better. Yeah, look, I agree. But there's a likelihood that I will be late and miss some things. So, what? Oh, that's not right. Notification for a doctor's appointment that doesn't exist. So yeah, I will probably dig into Komodo and Arcane here in the near future, just to give those another look, make some content about it. And I think if I kind of do them, maybe not necessarily back to back, but if I do them relatively soon or in quick succession anyway, I'll have a good idea about how they compare. So that might be good, just kind of make comparisons and that sort of thing. I don't know, we'll see. Got a message over WhatsApp saying Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is speaking in my own language. Wow. Yeah, does he need $500 to get home, Vaz? That seems like something there. Rana says hi from Pakistan. Glad to have you here, man. Thanks so much for hanging out. That's I love it when you guys like check in with where you're from. It really makes me happy to see how much reach the community has from literally all over the world. It blows my mind sometimes. Okay, let's see. We got some software updates. DocuSeal, document signing. We have FireShare. I feel like we did. Checking in from Long Island, New York. Man, I can't imagine how cold it is where you are right now. I wouldn't even want to deal with that, being right next to the water. Yeah, we looked at FireShare. It wasn't really something that I was interested in necessarily. Like, it's fine, but I didn't have a lot of interest in it. But maybe they did something different with it. When was this? Have a broad audience, right? And that still weirds me out a little bit. Gosh, we looked at FireShare just over 3 years ago. Holy cow! Yeah, like I'm just some dumb guy sitting in my garage talking to a camera, and it just really blows my mind that people from literally all over the world find my content and care enough to click the subscribe button or join on a live stream to hang out for a few minutes. Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming to think about a reach like that. It's a lot. So yeah, I don't know. Lean time got some updates. Media streaming. I wonder what percentage of usual viewers are from over the big pond, aka Europe. I could probably actually tell you. If I go into analytics and I look at audience and scroll down. So 26% of my audience 26% of my audience over the last 28 days has been the United States. Let's see. Let me do this. Let me see if I can find Canada. So Canada's 4%. So let's round that up to, let's call it 30%. There's Mexico with less than one. So we'll call it 31% is United States, Canada, and Mexico. So we see what, 31%? So that means 69% of my viewership is not in Canada, United States, or Mexico. So the other side of the pond is where most of my viewers have been for the last 28 days. Oh, let's see. Yeah, so like you guys actually make up a bigger viewing percent of my audience than the Western Hemisphere. I didn't actually know that. That's really kind of weird. Not bad weird, just weird to think about, I guess. About 97% male, and about 3% female viewership. That's kind of cool. I remember when I first started doing this, the female viewership was 0 for a really long time. So I'm glad to see that there's more of a female presence in the community. I really think that's important. Just because trying to update Affinity, the new version that Canva released. I have to log in, so they need my email. Oh, okay. So you're having email code delays as well this morning. I was having issues at Colin's comment there about the codes being so delayed. Yeah, it ended up being, I think I actually timed it. It took 7 minutes to get my login information for my Unify system this morning because I just had the email authentication set up. I hit the reset button so many times that I'm locked out. Yeah, I finally, I did it about 3 times and didn't remember I wasn't paying attention to how many times I had done it. So finally I just waited 10 minutes and then I did it again and just waited and I clocked it. It took 7 minutes to get my authentication code via Unify. Now I have a mail server attached to it that's Gmail. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that. About why so many different services are having such big delays this morning. That's weird. Vaz says, one question, does those numbers surprise you as a US-based streamer? Yeah, it really does. It really, really does surprise me that more than 2/3 of my viewership comes from literally like the other hemisphere, the eastern hemisphere. Yeah, it really surprises me. And again, that's one of the shifts that also happened. I mentioned a moment ago that when I first started doing this, that I had basically 0% female audience. And around the same time, most of my viewership was like North America, Central America, South America, whatever. In fact, I didn't consider South America because I'm a jerk, but it would have been a couple of percentage points maybe, if I were to go down and look through all of the different countries in South America. So, wonder why that is. Geez, hold on. Man, I tried to scroll. Praise Arts Design says, checking in from Spain. That's awesome. Perhaps it has something to do with the time difference. Maybe. Maybe. But like, even when I start my live streams, I start my live streams every Saturday at 10 o'clock. That's UTC -7. So, I mean, it could be that people have better things to do on a Saturday morning over here. But I doubt it. I mean, this weekend doesn't really matter a whole lot in the grand scheme of things with regards to the weather. But I have considered at some point trying like a midweek, like afternoon stream just to see how that would play out. I thought that might be kind of interesting to check out and just see what happened. But it's always one of those things that I think about for a minute and then move on and don't think about until it gets brought up again. So I don't know. Let's see. Oh crap! I need to remove that. We already went out for her birthday, so I need to remove that. That's crazy. I forgot to take that out. Sounds about right. I hit the reset button so many times. The new codes are coming through and not working. Yeah, that's exactly the same issue I was having. You're also using Gmail. Yeah, so that I don't know. It's hard to say what's going on there. I'm actually working on my podcast this year for cybersecurity news for the everyday people on top of the paranormal stuff I planned for 2026. Been putting off all my production stuff. Yeah, man, here's the thing. At least when we started doing the live streams, it was January of 2025. I really wanted to do live streams so that I could kind of engage with you guys and we could chat and like we could have more of a community other than here's a video, go watch it. Here's a video, go watch it. Like, you guys deserve more than that if you consider this more than that. So what I discovered is that you just have to do it, right? Like, you just have to, it's just something you just have to do. Like, and there have been plenty of times where I've just been like, I don't want to do the live stream. I don't want to do the live stream. I would rather just sit here and doom scroll. I don't want to do the live stream. And then I come out and do the live stream and I feel better. I genuinely feel better after having done a live stream, even if I don't want to do it. But like, so we used to have some people that would come over a couple of times a week to hang out, and there were a lot of days where I was just like, man, I wish they wouldn't. I wish we could do something else. I wish they wouldn't come over, and then they would come over, and we'd all have a really good time, and I would feel better afterwards. So it's sometimes you just got to like make yourself do it, and you'll feel better. And that's kind of been how things have been going for me for the past several months. If I think about something for too long, if I'm like, hey, I need to go do this thing, if I don't just go do this thing at that point, I probably won't. And I'm sure it has to do with the ADHD, like actual diagnosed, not, yeah, it's the anxiety talking. Yeah, and that's a big part of it is I have anxiety issues along with everything else. So, but I always feel better afterwards. I almost always feel better afterwards. I should clarify that. Not always, but almost always I feel better afterwards. So I'm in the sports off season right now, so this stream works well for me. That's great. Man, Vaz, you got me so beat. Like English is your third of 6 languages. I wasn't even like I speak English and enough Spanish to ask where the bathroom is and to order a beer. And it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, I only speak one language fluently. So if you're speaking like 6, you got me and a lot of other people beat. So all right. Oh, that's me with the Docker. That's me with my complete Docker rebuild. That's why I decided that it will be done during today's live stream. That's good. Oh man, the idea of having to do a Docker rebuild. Oh man. Luckily I got backups. It wouldn't be a huge deal, but man, I wouldn't want to. I just wouldn't want to rebuild this from scratch again. I'm super happy with Proxmox, so I can just run a backup, build Proxmox on something else, restore the backup, and I'm good to go. It's one of my favorite things about Proxmox is how easy it is to migrate from one piece of hardware to another. The only I just ignore it, hope it fixes itself. Yeah, I have done that on a few things over the years. I think the only issue I would have moving forward, migrating things, would be my Plex server. Well, and now my TrueNAS server as well. I wouldn't want to have to move that if I didn't have to, just because of the way I had to pass hard drives through rather than backplanes, because that's the way this hardware works with what I've got. So anyway, yeah, I hope I don't have to rebuild for a while, because my media, I don't want to deal with my media library again. So what else we got here? NetBird. VPN is this what I think it is? I looked through, yeah, okay, NetBird. I looked at NetBird a little bit. Tom says, hi all, glad to have you here, man. Thanks for stopping by. Mr. Graywolf says, I have 40-ish services, a nasty mix of Docker Run, Docker Compose, Portainer, and LXC helper scripts. Want to get everything redone in a straight Compose for easier portability. Yeah, absolutely. I just recently, went through, and I think this is fine. Yeah, if you guys saw the video that I did this week with Dockhand, you would have seen this, and I finally got all of those things moved over to here, copied over to here. So if I need to quickly redeploy something, I can. Again, one of the big issues that I think I did to myself accidentally without paying a lot of attention to it was some of these have Docker volumes instead of mapped volumes, and this is one of those times I wish I had gone mapped volumes on more things. I think it would have served me better with doing things like trying to move over to a Dockhand or something like that, because again, having a lot of issues with Dockhand creating new volume names, even though I've explicitly said, hey, use this Docker volume. It's like, hey, we're going to throw some other crap on here to prefix that name and create a new volume. So that's been fun. I'm sure there's something in the Docker Compose that I could do or whatever to do better, but I just haven't. Did my Plex server be like a 3-day rebuild? Yeah, that's not far off for me either. Just with the media, too much, man. Luckily though, I've got my TrueNAS, or all of the media on my TrueNAS server backing up to a NAS. That initial backup took, I think, 2 days, like 2 full days, because it was on a 2.5 gig connection. Rather than the 10 gig connection that I have available. But that's only because I had repeated issues with the 10 gig connection overheating and losing connectivity altogether. So I just decided to go with the 2.5 gig connection. I'd rather have slower stable speeds than really fast unstable speeds. So Notify got some updates. OtterWiki popped up for me over on Reddit the other day, and I don't know I want to look at this. Okay. Glad to see screenshots. That's all I wanted to see, is if they put screenshots in there. But it looks like this is what OtterWiki looks like, so that's kind of cool. Looks good enough. I don't know what the administrative part of it would look like. I also feel like having the logo down here in the bottom as well as up here at the top seems a bit overkill to me. But again, everybody's allowed to do what they want to do there. Let's see. Mr. Greywolf says, I do have a question about this for you, DB, and other big brains here. Shifting everything down to 2 dedicated VMs. Should I keep everything localized on these VMs, or should I create a new NFS share on my TrueNAS and mount that to the 2 VMs? I've done it both ways. And most people will tell you not to do an NFS share for your services unless you've got a multi-gig connection. It just for your network, making sure that you've got like a 2.5 or 10 gig connection from one host to another. That is something that I heard a lot when I was working on my high availability cluster with the Zima boards, because the first Zima boards just had 2 1 gig connections, and that's all I used like I used one of the 1 gig connections for everything on each device. Even with the NFS share, I didn't see any kind of sluggishness or slowdown. Everything worked fine with the NFS shares. So it's really, I feel like if you're going to put everything in VMs or in just a couple of VMs, I would probably go with the NFS share, just so that if something goes wrong with your Docker container, you can trash it and bring it back up and just point it back to your NFS share. That's how I would do it. If you're going to go that route, that's probably how I would do it. Again, I say that because like all of my services, each one has its own LXC or VM. So if something happens, I can trash it and restore, that morning's backup, and I've only lost maybe a few hours. Whereas if you're putting all of your containers in a couple of VMs, it could get different as far as trying to restore things. So I would probably go NFS share with something like that. But I would also be curious to see what other people thought. Let's see. Tom says, I still use OMV for my NAS. I'm stubborn like that. That's fair. I've thought about doing a new video on OMV 8. I just haven't got that far yet. So rebuild would be nice and easy if I don't mess with that RAID volume. It would pick it back up easy. That's great. Let's see. Mr. Grable says that was my logic too. Yeah. Again, I don't know if anybody else would agree with me, but that would be my logic. So yeah, here's OtterWiki. Again, I think having the Otter at the top and the bottom is a bit much. Like I think you could have an OtterWiki down here, or maybe this is just too big for my aesthetic tastes. It doesn't hurt anything. I would just wonder what would happen when this got too long. I would be curious about that. I'm just curious about. Cool. It does build it all in a list. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, glad you caught that. That's pretty funny though. Papra got some new updates. That's great. Glad to see that. Posnote version 3. So kind of another note-taking wiki kind of thing. Again, I super appreciate the images. The documentation looks good so far. It looks like they've got a lot of really good information in here, so that's good. Me isn't caffeinated enough for YouTube, dude. I get you. Dude, there's lots of note-taking choices, and I think that was part of my issue over the past several months, is that I just kept seeing the same things over and over and over and over, with a different colorway and a different developer tacked on. And I don't say that to be a dick. It's just a lot of people creating note-taking apps. A lot of people creating sharing apps to share notes, documents, passwords, things like that. Just very one-off kind of like, here, let me share this text file with you, or let me share this PDF with you, or let me share this thing. So I was seeing so many of those sharing apps and so many note-taking apps that I was getting frustrated. Some with and some without AI, dude, and that's a big part of it too. Is I don't mind if you use AI as long as you go through a proper code review with real people that know how to do code review. Like the note take, or not the note taking app, the shopping list app definitely had some AI elements to it, but they also did code review on it. Still use it. In fact, we use it every Friday to do our shopping. The wife loves it. Wow, somebody's got some opinions. Let's come over here and take a look. Somebody commented on my pangolin video with that. So here's what happens, just so you guys can have some transparency here. When somebody leaves a comment like this that's just not helpful, full of profanity, right? So here's what happens with these people, right? I could reply, and I used to do that, and I was an awful person in my replies when I would give these guys right. Yeah, they didn't even spell rapper right. Let's go look at their profile real quick. Lots of AI stuff here, so good for them. Their whole channel is AI slop. So I could reply. I'm not going to do that. I could give them a thumbs up, a thumbs down. I could troll them with a heart, or what I can do, I could also remove. I could just delete it, and that would be fine. Except that a lot of times in these situations, these people will come back and see if I've removed their to see if I've removed their comment. So what I've learned to do in these cases is click this right here. Hide user from channel. When I do this, when they come back, their comment will still be there for them. However, it will only be there for them. No one else will see this comment as of right now. Comment's gone. They can see it. No one else can. So they can scream into the void all they like. It's just there was no need for a comment like that, especially one spelled so incorrectly. And all caps. So whatever. Let's see. Tom said I had a mess last week. I tried to update my web UI instance. It was installed through Proxmox helper scripts, and it totaled my LXC of it. Had to reinstall it all over again. Damn, that sucks. Discovered data views inside Obsidian this week. Total game changer for my squirrel brain. That's great. I've never actually used Obsidian. I've heard really, really good things about Obsidian, but I've never used it. Nighthawk says I'm still using DocMost and I like it. Taking his dislike of Pangolin out on the creators. Yeah. And that's why I put those disclaimers in my videos. Is I don't know the percentage, but I feel like probably half of the people who watch my content think that I am the application developer, that I'm the one that made the app that they're watching, and I'm not. I've never actually built an app. I probably never will build an app, because in order for me to do that, I would have to use AI, and it would have to go through a code review that I wouldn't be able to do. So yeah, it's whatever. Do you have any recommendations for a budgeting app? I've tried Firefly. It's too complicated. An actual budget. I don't, unfortunately. Like I was thinking about that. the last couple of weeks of December that I would really like to get something, a good budgeting app or a good finance tracking app of some variety, just so I can keep better track of certain things. So unfortunately, I don't have a good recommendation on that. Somebody else might. I just don't, unfortunately. Collins really likes Obsidian. Don't use the data view yet. Nighthawk says I would use Obsidian if they were 100% local. Yeah, I agree, and I think that's part of the reason I didn't switch to Obsidian or even check out Obsidian is that it's not 100% local, which I know seems whatever because not everything needs to be, but yeah, I've just kind of been trying other things along the way. Colin says shopping list app. It's integrated into Home Assistant and now has a dashboard element, so we can add grocery items to it from there. And the family has the link on their phone. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Big fan of DocMost. I can recommend it to anybody. I recommend it to anybody and everybody I talk to. That's great. My Obsidian Vault. Yeah, he said that he tried Firefly. I don't remember where it went, but yeah, he had mentioned trying Firefly already. Firefly is too complicated, and actual budget has a good UI, but not much for the way of features. My Obsidian Vault is on one of my NAS boxes, available to all my PCs and remotely via Tailscale. Huh. It says, yeah, it's daunting. I believe that. Like, I feel like I made a video about Firefly at one point, kind of early on, and it was one of those. It's like, here's Firefly. Yeah, August 12th of 2020. So just almost 5.5 years ago, I made a video about it, and it did 45,000 views. That's bonkers. It's such an man. And it's had 11 views in the last 48 hours. That's crazy. Yeah. Jan, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Really appreciate that. Looks like JFL Tech got it. Cool. For those keeping track at home, I just logged into Affinity again. Oh, you just got logged. Jeez, man. I'm glad. I'm glad you got it sorted. But yeah, those delays, there's got to be something going on. I searched earlier for like email notification delays, and I'm not. I haven't seen anything relevant to this morning, so I wonder if there's just one of the backbone services is down or glitchy today. Yeah, I just watched it. Yeah, it's and the version of Firefly that I covered 5 years ago won't be relevant to whatever's going on now, because that video, I was still very new to Docker at that point, and it was just like, here's how to install it, but I don't know how to use it. And I've had a few videos in the past like that, and I've tried to avoid those types of videos for a while now. I want to be able to cover all of the features in some sort of an intelligent manner. And if I can't, then I don't want to talk about it, because I don't want to unintentionally give wrong information or have people ask me, hey, can it do this or that or the other thing? I have no idea. Seems like a lot of web stuff is breaking lately. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's kind of the same old UI, too complicated. That sucks that they haven't updated the UI in like 5 years. Okay, coffee on hand. What's up, chat and DB? JD's here. Glad to have you, man. I'm also drinking my coffee. I hope you're staying warm. I don't know. I don't think it's going to hit freezing today. I think it's going to be below freezing all day. Good coffee. So getting into some new software here. Yeah, self-hosted for the win when stuff on the web breaks. 100%. I need to. I think I need to go into my Unify stuff and give myself a backup authentication method or backup two-factor authentication method in case more issues arise. You're ready for the blizzard? Man, I am not. Like I am very comfortable in my house. I'm even almost comfortable in here. The space heater's doing a pretty good job. All the way up to 12 degrees in North Denver. Man, Let's see. We're at 13 here in the Springs. It looks like we've got a high of 18 today, so that's something. And then for the rest of you guys out in the real world, we've got a high of -8. So there's that. Sam took the pup to the 7 Brew in a pup cup. High of 22 today. 22 today. Day of Homelab. Yeah, man, I don't blame you. 7 Brew is so good. We've only got one here in the Springs that I'm aware of. They've got so many good flavors. Just if you have health concerns, don't look at the nutritional values on their drinks. It is so much. It is so much sugar in a lot of their drinks. But that's true with Starbucks or Dutch Brothers or whatever. The other thing I noticed about 7 Brew is their larges are huge. Like their larges are so much bigger. Like I think their large is like the Starbucks Trenta, which is like a 30 ounce or something. Man, it's so big. Like I don't get the larges at 7 Brew anymore because they're too big for me. Let's see what else we got here. Wait, I'm retired, so yeah. It was 11 this morning and a high of 14. Just got done with the therapist. Glad you got that done. That's awesome. Well done on the therapy. I think more people need therapy. And that's not just me being a dick. I think therapy is good for people. I say that as somebody who's not in therapy and hasn't been for a long time. Not because I think I'm better than anybody, but I've had some issues with therapists in the past that's put me off. But I've got somebody who I kind of talk to every once in a while, and it goes pretty well. All the calories and sugar. Yeah, it has all of the calories and sugar in every drink. It's crazy. Wind chill -4 in Philly, and the snow didn't even hit yet. Man. We got Zevia drinks made with stevia. That's kind of cool. I've never tried that. I really need to get that Nightbot thing removed from there. I don't even know if I can get logged in. I need to get that. And I don't want to do that. We're going to click there. We're going to log in with YouTube. We're going to log in with that address. We're going to log in with that account. Yes, I understand. Yes, I understand. You've already got access to some of my services. Timers. We'll turn that one off. There we go. Cool. No more pushes to contribute to Mrs. DB Tech's birthday fund. We went out and did it, and it was a good time. Zodas are free of sugar, calorie dyes, and fake flavors. So good. Never had Zodas. That sounds good. Never even heard of those. Supercharge your health and wellness business. Is this? That is not the same thing. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was like a Zevia, or like I wasn't sure if that was like a brand name. It is a brand name, but it's not drinks. So it absolutely looked like a legit brand name that would go well as like an actual thing. Zevia. Oh, Zevia is the drink. Okay, gotcha. Well, let's look at that because maybe I have seen these. We do the Ollies that are pretty good. I don't know about. What is she? Count tea, energy, I guess soda. Let's look there. Salted caramel, orange creamsicle, peaches and cream. Holy cow. Those look really good. Those look really, really good. No aspartame, no sucralose, no artificial flavors, no plastic bottles, no sugar. Cool. I sure would like, though, to see some, just some general stats on them. So, yeah, let's look at this. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. I always like to look at this. Wow, that's bonkers. I think they're available on Amazon. Yeah, buy on Amazon. But Interesting. How much are they though? 12-ounce can, 6-pack. That's actually reasonably priced. That's like $1 a can, which is way better than the Ollies. But the Ollies also have like a fiber bump in them and that sort of thing as well. So I might buy a pack of these once I find a flavor I like and try them out, because I like to have options, and it's flavored water, so it's good for getting your water in on the daily. And if you can get it with flavor, then have at, man. I won't buy stuff with natural flavors, huh? I always get stuff at Starbucks with half or quarter of all of the sugary stuff. It tastes so much better, and I can tell it has coffee or espresso in it. Yeah, I'm really bad about that. But a lot of times, if I don't want the sugar, I'll get like a flat white, which is just like coffee and milk. So yeah, sometimes I want to taste the coffee. So sometimes I'll do something like that, so I can still get kind of the best of both worlds. Yeah, bubbly water, and people are so quick to be like, "Oh, it's soda. It's not good for you, man." It is like 98% water. Some carbonation and a little bit of flavoring doesn't make it, or only makes it ever so slightly less water. It is still mostly water. There's a couple of guys that I watch, or a few different people, but mostly one guy that's real big on, talking about like diet sodas and sugar-free sodas and things like that, where it's like it's just flavored water, and even any caffeine in there is only going to be a mild diuretic, so you're still coming out net positive as long as you're keeping your sugar in check. And with the sugar-free options, and have at. So get a variety pack so you can try your favorite. Yeah, I may actually do that. In fact, I should leave that up. So I can, because I saw shop soda. They've also got other stuff as well. Yeah, the Rainbow Variety Pack on Amazon. It's a 6-pack, so you get like one of each flavor. Eat my butt. This 6-pack. Oh, never mind. I retract my statement. I didn't realize it was a 24-pack. I thought it was just 6 flavors, or six cans. A 24-pack for $20. I might actually do that, just so I can really try all the different flavors. That's a really good deal. I'm going to leave that open for later, because that's a really good deal. I take back my verbal assault on that page. I just ordered the variety pack for less than $1 a can. Yeah, that's great. I may do that later too. Get the bubbly syrup and use the soda stream. My wife does that actually. She's got the soda stream. Sometimes she just wants bubbly water, and she doesn't put flavor in it. She just like carbonates the water and drinks that, which I think kind of makes her a monster, but I still love her. So I like to at least have a little flavor in my bubbly water. All right, what do we have here? Anosku? Soku. I don't know, man. Soku. A modern desktop client for Navidrome and subsonic servers. That's kind of cool. Yeah, it's just carbonated water with no flavor. It's like spicy water. It doesn't make sense to me, but she loves it. So Oral Archive, comprehensive audiobook library management system and acquisition system, which means I'll never be able to talk about it on YouTube. Back Me Up Scotty, that's funny. rsync-based backup tool with encryption and deduplication. Yes, we do still love Mrs. DB Tech. Add some lime and tequila, right? Backlogia? Probably Backlogia, video game library management, Caddy Bar, configuration manager via the Mac OS menu bar for Caddy, Crooner, lightweight Docker native cron scheduler. I am so garbage with cron. What want to see. Okay, don't. Interesting. Here, Navid Drummond, think Thunderdome. Yeah, that's fair. I usually get Polar or the Winco bubbly water. Huh. I think Polar sounds familiar. So this just must be. I mean, it's got. Oh, this is all just running a config.toml file. So you'd have to like build your config file and then just let it run. Jan says, I love your YouTube video about Dockhand. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It is a good software. Again, we've talked about it a little bit. I think I'm going to hold off on it a little bit until it's a bit more mature. I think it's a great as it is, but would like to see it. I would like to know that they're going to continue to maintain it for a long time. Cron challenged. Yeah, I want a graphical user interface. There are just certain things that I don't trust, or I don't trust myself with, I guess is a better way to put it. If I can't visually see it in an interface, there are just certain things I don't trust, and cron is one of them. I'll go to YouTube, I'll go to Google or something, and I'll type in what's the cron for this, and I will trust it the most I can, but it gives me the ick. I'm actually going to play with it today along with NixOS to fully move my lab infrastructure as code. That's cool. I think that would be fun. I would like to do more automations and that sort of thing, but the reality is I've only added one container to my Homelab in the last year or so, and that was the Kafan, and that's just an app really has to make a big impact on my life for me to add it as a daily or as part of my actual Homelab. Otherwise, I'll test it and I'll just delete that LXC when I'm done. But I don't. So my point is, I don't deploy enough things regularly enough for it to make any difference as far as using orchestration or automations or things like that for deploying things. And maybe one day I'll rebuild everything and do that, but it's not going to be anytime soon. Healthchecks.io is created for tracking cron drops. That's good to know. I don't know if health checks. I feel like I've been there. Healthchecks.io. I feel like I've been here and looked at it at some point. Monitor 20 jobs, 3 team members, 100 log entries per job. That's not very many. I mean, it's on the free tier, so it's whatever, but Colin says, my wife is currently making chicken soup. The house smells delightful. Man, I love doing stuff like in the crock pot, whether it's chili or soup or stew or things like that. Something where like it starts out and it's nothing, and then as the day goes on, your whole house starts to smell better, and then you finally get to eat. I love that. I love when the house smells good from food that you're going to get to eat later. Let's see. Dakar, early stage Android app for managing those. Docker Cloudflare Tunnel Sync. That's interesting. Reverse proxy, automated synchronized Cloudflare tunnels and routes from Docker container labels, which is very much like traffic in that regard, which isn't necessarily bad. Yeah. So, but probably something I wouldn't use. Yeah, I was going to say soup in the crock pot is best. It's so good. Sven's here. Glad to have it. Glad to have you here, man. My words still evade me today for some reason. Night Dog says, I made some chili last weekend. It actually lasted more than a few days in the house. Dude, I love making chili. It's like the one thing that I'm really good at making consistently. And yeah, like we've got a 7 quart slow cooker, and like I will fill it to the lid, and it'll last about 3 days. So, yeah, because it just and chili in a crock pot's one of those, like, it's even better the next day, and even better the day after of that. It gets better with age, and I love that. Make chili in a crock pot. Yep, I've done so much window shopping for apps that I really haven't added anything at least a year to my server setup. Yep, stuff out there looks interesting, but not worth it lately. Yeah, and look, here's the thing, right? Like it's worth it to somebody, obviously. Like there's some of these that we can look at, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody here. I'm just going to open a couple of these up, and I want to look. Crooner was updated and released 2 weeks ago. There have been 4 release tags. They were all 2 weeks ago. There's been nothing since then. 20 stars. It was worth it for 20 people there so far. Anyway, this one's 36, and somebody forked it. So there's definitely a market for some people, but it's just a matter of finding the right audience. Sven, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. I really appreciate you for that. Spectacular Austin says, hi, DB. Well, Austin, thanks for hanging out. Let me turn my volume down. We don't need to listen to that. Glad to have you here. Vaz says, man, I swear I have like 100 DisplayPort cables. I need one to set up a machine now and can't find a single one. Right. There was something I was looking for the other day. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I was looking for a cable that I know I've got a bunch of, and just nothing. Dug for like an hour, threw all of my crap out here. Just nothing. I've never had one in the house. It's so frustrating. My dog says my wife will only eat my chili. That's got to be good chili then. Chili is on the menu for dinner tonight with the cold. I wish I had thought about that. I absolutely wish I had thought about that. I could have made chili this weekend too. I feel bad I arrived late. No, man, you're good. We spent like the first half hour or something getting audio to be better, despite there still being a little bit of a sync issue there. I may just have to come through here and redo some things, because like both the capture card and my microphone are plugged into a hub, and I gotta reconfigure some stuff out here, but I may just wait. Like I said, I've got a device coming hopefully soon. I put out a poll about it on Discord. Let me go over to here. Is in general. I put out a poll. Where is it? What, did I really do it yesterday? Yeah, I did it yesterday. Yeah, if you guys haven't done this poll, you should. I mean, not that it matters. I already told them I wanted this. So this is a beast of a machine here. I've got this hopefully on the way soon. And my big reason, it was kind of a 2-part reason for it. Dude, come on. You son of a... because it has the Oculink. I like having the Oculink set up. My current system, the one I'm on right now, has the Oculink so that I can plug in an external GPU. I don't necessarily need it, but I like to have the extra horsepower for doing live streams and that sort of stuff. But it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 USB ports on it, with a good mix of Type-C and Type-A. The Minis forum that I'm using right now has, I think, 3 USB ports on it, and only one of them is USB-C. And it's the USB 4 that I'm using for the docking station, so I can have more USB ports. But GMK Tech reached out to me the other day to offer me this one, or this one. And this is also a beast of a machine as far as mini PCs go. But the thing I really like about this one, not only from being able to live stream with it or even do some gaming with it or whatever, is that I can find the right image here. It has 3 NVMe slots in here. So you can have like 3 hard drives, which is great. So you could have 1 for your operating system and 2 for a RAID setup. And you could put a server on this and it'd be such a beast. So that's why I asked them to send over the GMK Tech K12. I sent that email over last night. So hopefully they'll get it soon, and we can take a look at that. Because I think from both a desktop perspective as well as a Homelab perspective, it would just be a great device. Yeah, the K12 is a beast. I agree. I was looking at the Ryzen version as a PC for my wife. Yep. Well, that's that. I prefer the device with 32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, I've got so much RAM laying around. I could probably pay next month's rent with RAM right now, which would be funny, but I don't want to because I like having the backups. I don't know what these are over here. I'm just looking. Oops, no, come here. I want those. Crucial. 16 gigs of DDR4. It's another one of those. It's another one. Oh, I've got two of those kits, and this is 16 gigs of DDR5. Just sitting over here, and I've actually got more on my shelf over there. Sven says, when or will you start streaming gaming? You know, I tried that at one point years ago, and it didn't go well. The problem that I have with gaming is I'm not entertaining when we're doing this. I am less entertaining when I'm gaming. I just kind of get dialed in and I do my thing. I tried it for a while and it wasn't good. I thought it might be fun. I'm just not any good at it. Looking forward to seeing what you do with the K12. It'll probably be my new desktop PC for out here. But I'm going to be, I'll obviously do a couple of different demonstrations on it for the video for both for desktop stuff and for Homelab stuff. We'll see what happens. And you don't have too many Ryzen devices, so having that would be an issue. That's true. I think most of my devices are all Intel based. Performance, CPU. Oh, this is a Ryzen 7 8845HS. But yeah, no, most of the mini PCs that I've reviewed recently have all been Intel based. So I'd be curious to see about that. Look at you with King of the Castle, right? Yeah. The sad thing is you could possibly replace my 4U server with an i5-12400. I mean, that's not bad. I like, one of the things that I've discovered over the years is that you don't, and I know that sounds stupid the way I said that, because it was, for a year, like literally for an entire year, yeah, this Trig Key S5 was my entire Homelab, except for Plex. I had Plex on a NAS, but that was just because the media was there. So yeah, yeah, this was a Ryzen 7 5000 series, but yeah, this little mini PC was my Homelab for quite a while. So there's nothing wrong with having a very a small, power efficient. Nothing wrong with that at all, man. Just that a soldered on RAM might be an issue. It depends on the unit. Both of the ones that I was looking at over here, they are not soldered. I'm pretty sure that neither of these are soldered RAM. This one doesn't actually show the inside. This one might have soldered RAM. But I don't know. I never even considered that. Okay, dual M.2 slots. This doesn't say anywhere. Maybe there's something farther down. 16 gig quad channel. 8 gig by 2, LPDDR5, 6400 mega transfer per second on board. I don't know if that means soldered or if on board is what they mean. Let's see, cache memory installed size 16 gigs, memory storage capacity 1 terabyte, not in a mini PC, RAM memory installed 16. These are just a lot of words in a row that don't really tell us anything about that. That's funny. So I don't know. I wanted the K12 for my new work computer, but I settled on that list of characters. I hope it works out for you. I know you sent it the other day and I forgot to look at it, but would be interested to do that here. Have 32 gigs of DDR5 as rent, and I expect 10 gig SFP plus as change. That's funny. Do you do giveaways for hardware you don't use anymore? I don't like doing giveaways. Giveaways are always, they're always a crap fest. I've done giveaways in the past, and they always turn out with the worst people. These people who sign up for Twitter accounts or Instagram accounts or whatever, and the only thing they use that account for is entering giveaways, and they just mass enter every giveaway they can find in hopes to win. I always put, when I was doing giveaways, and I only did a few, but when I did them, I would always put something in the disclaimer, in the rules, whatever. If I will check every entry, and if the accounts that you sign up with are accounts that are only set up to do these giveaway things, you'll be immediately disqualified. I always did that because so many people would just try to do giveaways for absolutely everything, or sign up for giveaways for absolutely everything, even if it wasn't something that interested them. It was a side hustle, money-making scheme for them, and I just don't want to. I would rather the hardware were to go to somebody who actually wanted or needed it. But yeah, I don't do giveaways. Now I say that there have been plenty of times in the past where a family member or a friend or somebody needed a PC, so I like to have them on hand, these mini PCs, so that like my father-in-law, my grandmother, and I've had a couple of friends who all needed like their PC crapped out on them or was about to crap out on them. So I take something out of inventory and send it to them, because I mean that's what you do. Hold on. You should game if you think it's fun. I'm 50 and still game and stream to this day. I'm not very entertaining either, but I do it because I think it's fun. That's fair. Like, I enjoy gaming. The problem is that I don't. I'll play Fallout 4 and Cyberpunk and all of those different AAA titles and whatever, and it's fine. But it's very rare that a game holds my interest long enough to complete it. Like, I beat Fallout 4, I beat Cyberpunk, I beat all of the Watch Dogs games. Well, not the last one. Or did I beat the last one? I remember. But I think I beat all of the Watch Dogs games as well. But most of the time, I'll get 40 or 50 hours into a game, and I just don't care anymore. Like, I go tangent off on something else, and so I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll jump on and do something, but I would need to bring another computer out here to actually handle the stream, because this will not stream and game simultaneously. So I'd have to figure something out there. I went Intel because of the lower power load and QuickSync. Yeah, QuickSync's a really nice thing to have on a mini PC if you're going to put that in your home lab. So I tend to overbuy PCs. Tom says, hell, I use an i7 8700 for my home server and it's a problem. Oh, it isn't a problem. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, no, the 87 or the 8000 series are great. I think that was the first year, or the first one that had the QuickSync on it. And yeah, you can pass that through and have it handle all of your all your streaming stuff, at least to a certain degree. The 6650 has soldered on RAM. That's good to know. Thank you for that. That's good to know. I just snagged a Camrui H1 mini PC. And tossed into 1 terabyte NVMe, installed Bazite, and using it as a living room Steam OS gaming device. That's cool. I'm glad you said that, because I've got the Camrui. I think it's the H2 sitting in the living room that I need to do a video with. Maybe I should look at that. It's working out great. That's good. LPDDR soldered. Is that always true? LPDDR, oops, is always soldered. Is almost always soldered directly to device's motherboard or onto the map. See, I learned something new there too. I guess it makes sense, because you wouldn't need as much energy to push through the interface on that. That makes sense. But does it sound good? Oh, the Minis Forum. A big fan of Minis Forum, and found the refurbished store while they still had workstations with memory. Yeah, I'd like to do some more stuff with Minis Forum. They've always got good stuff. I tried to get the MSO1, but they wouldn't do it. Great. Now I'm down the Minis Forum refurbished rabbit hole. Thanks for that. That's funny. Camrui is really nice. Yeah, I've got a couple of their devices. I don't even know what. Like, I've got this one sitting over here for some reason. The AK2 Plus. This is sitting over here for some reason. That one's got an Intel in it. Everybody's tagging Nightbot instead of Nighthawk. That's funny. The UN1250 is awesome for my personal desktop. Is that the one that you got from me, Nighthawk? That UN1250? I feel like it is. They thought the dual 10 gig SFP Plus were overkill. Yep, refurb or bare bones. It's all good if you have RAM already. That's true. Yep. Okay, it is cool. Yeah. No, I did a lot of testing on it, and it seemed really solid. Recently picked up an Optiplex 3080 with the 10th gen i5 for a test system. That's great. I'm noticing the bare bones. I don't have a lot of DDR5 laying around. I think I have some. Most of the DDR5 that I have laying around, if not all of it, is SODIMM. I don't think I've got any like desktop DDR5 laying around. Want to solve my new nightmare? If so, check on Discord pictures. Is this something that I can bring up on stream, Vaz? Because I don't want us to get in trouble here. If it's something we can bring up on stream, I will. Sure. Okay. Pictures. Oh man. Wow, new nightmare to solve. Let the intern do it, they said. Yeah, right. Oh my. And that's all fiber, isn't it? Is that all fiber? Oh man, that's... Oh, it is. That sucks. Is that literally what you're working on fixing right now? Because that sucks. Right? Mrs. DB Tech walked in and like paused, like her eyes lit, like what the hell? Thank you. Quite good. And it's all fiber, like, which requires special tools to like cut and re-terminate. And someone should be fired. Yeah, she said somebody should be fired for that. Colin says hi. Hi, Colin. She said hi. Wow, that's, yeah, that's terrible. I'm not safe for the eyes of an IT pro. My eyes are burning. That right. I only have 4 16 gig SODIMM looking at the motherboard and CPU. A bottle of tequila playing the Yell method. It's a lot of pasta. That is true. I appreciate Mrs. DB Tech support here. Yeah, get a weed whacker and go to town. That's Oh, you can't re-terminate that. That sucks even more. Oh, jeez. That's... So are you getting new cables to take out the excess? Like I feel like it's just everywhere you look, there's just so much. And trying to trace individual, oh my God, I can't. I feel like that is built up over years and years and years. That's so much. That's some serious patience to detangle that. If you're meticulous, it might be doable. Getting new fiber patches next week. Rip out and rewire from scratch is the only way. Look, man. I don't know. Some of these things are getting held for weird reasons that I don't understand. It's whatever. Arson. Like, so in a case like this, when you've got, like, if let's say this top left one, like, are you going to then try to like match, like this port goes to the port over here? Like, are you trying to like do like a 1-for-1 exact replacement on ports? All right, Nighthawk, thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate you being here. Yeah. Did a full rack rewire on some that looked like this. Took a whole weekend and then a week to find out what I got wrong. Oh man. Like, yeah, because if you had to do a direct rewire port for port, you'd have to detangle all of that first. Oh man, I can't even imagine doing that. I'd walk out and find the nearest bar. That's why you keep a flask with you. Just get drunk while you're doing it. That's bonkers. I would not want to do that. I admire your stick with it attitude if you get through that. Oh man, let's see. KO pellet recipe import tool for kitchen owl. I don't think I looked at that. Yeah, label maker becomes your second wife, right? Yeah, I've got one around here somewhere. I still need to get I don't even know where it is. One of these days, I really need to spend like an entire day out here reorganizing things. That might be a live stream one of these days after it warms up, because I can't even tell you what a disaster it is out here right now. Spent 5 hours rewiring my Unify cabinet last week. That was enough for me, right? I got to figure out a power delivery issue on my system in the other room, and I don't even want to do that. And I've just got to go track down some power wires and figure out where they're going. Yeah, got a good one. 2 backup cheap ones as well. Back full of tapes for the label makers. Yep. That's what the job. When the job is done, they find out you get it becomes someone else's problem, right? Kitchen owl. I don't think. I mean, this looks interesting. Other platforms. There we go. Oof. Okay. Well, I guess there have been some updates recently. Kitchen Owl 076 released 17 hours ago. Interesting. Smart self-hosted grocery list and recipe manager. Easily add items to your shopping list before you go shopping. You can also create recipes and get suggestions on what you want to cook. Track your expenses so you know how much you've spent. Native mobile web desktop apps. Add items to your shopping list and sync them in real time. Partial offline support. Manage recipes, share recipes, create a meal plan, manage balance, and track expenses of your household. That's a lot of things for one app to do. I feel like that's too many things for a grocery list to do. Like I get meal planning and recipe management and shopping, because those can kind of go in hand in hand. But then adding finance tracking, that seems like a weird Kind of a weird thing. Again, this is probably one of those things. We looked at an app a while back that had a few different things that were all kind of mushed together. And when I chatted with a developer, I think via comments or something, it was a project that he had built for him and his family, and it just kind of picked up steam and kind of went out into the community. And it just had weird things that didn't make any sense in the grand scheme of things to the average. Like it was very focused, built on his needs, and then the community picked it up. So I think this is probably one of those same things, especially when we look at, like, this has been 5 years in the making. So it's probably something real similar to that. When was that? No, there we go. August 3rd, 2021. Interesting. So yeah, Kitchen Owl, there was that, which was just this. Man, Tom, like, for some reason, chat keeps trying to censor you, and I don't see anything censorable about any of this. Home Assistant for me right now is the bug I want to smash. Yeah, I really like Home Assistant now that it's up and working for the most part. Big fan. Kind of looking forward to rebuilding it if we move, just so I can kind of start completely fresh, kind of start over at least a little bit. Let's see, LibBrains is music, Logic Paper document generation engine for merging structured data with templates. MarkStat, we've got a static site generator, lightweight static site generator for markdown-based knowledge base and docs. Price Ghost, monitor product pricing and stock from any website. I wonder how that works. Not a terrible idea. I don't know that I would actually use it, but this entire application was developed collaboratively with Claude, using Claude Code. Every feature from database migrations to responsive UI components was crafted through iterative conversation and careful code generation. This is not AI slop. This is fully functional, production ready, and application with. Cool. I'd like to know more about their code review process. I might try Price Ghost to see how competent Claude Code is. I mean, if you try it, let us know. I'm curious. 60 stars, 1 fork. Again, just because you've had an iterative conversation, I don't know if that necessarily qualifies as code review. Verifies every scraped price. It's got AI verification, which means you need to get an API key from Anthropic or OpenAI or Ollama if you want to use that. At least you can use Ollama, so that's good. Go to settings, AI extraction, enable AI extraction, fallback, and or AI verification recommended. Select your provider, enter your key, or Ollama URL. I'm glad that they've got a local thing here as well. I don't know. I would be curious about an actual code review on that. And again, I'm not saying that the code isn't good, but just, it just says it's not slop. It was each thing was crafted through an iterative conversation and careful code generation. I would still like to see code review. I've said that several times. Stingray is Jellyfin client sublog for enrich subtitle SRT files with additional metadata. Vibe NVR. I think the developer of Vibe NVR reached out recently to reach out to me, I think, via Discord. And again, this is, look, I don't know how to say this. Grocery lists and price checking with AI is one thing. This is an NVR. This has access to your video streams in your house, which makes me less likely to want to trust it. Product status. This is a vibe coding project. Extensive testing has been performed to ensure stability. We're always open to new help and contributions from the community. And in fact, I remember talking to this guy about this, and like his friends are using it and his dad is using it and he's using it, and that's all fine. it still doesn't make it safe. It still doesn't mean, or doesn't, that doesn't mean it's been code reviewed properly. And again, price checking and grocery lists are one thing. Security related things are something that, while I appreciate the disclosure that this has been vibe coded, if I know explicitly that a project has been coded exclusively with AI, I am probably not going to let it have access to my cameras. And maybe that's me being overly paranoid, but sometimes I think you gotta be. Recently discovered cron Guru Doppelganger for monitoring, browser automation and extraction tool. Self-hosted free browser automation scraping platform built on Playwright, designed to handle everything from simple scraping to complex human-like browser interactions. JD says, but why? There's Frigate already. Use a proper NVR software. I get making your own thing, but some things I want proper security. Exactly. Yeah. I don't feel comfortable giving some random AI coded NVR access to my cameras. It doesn't give me the feel goods. NVR would have to be local only to be 100% safe. Yeah, like, I don't know, man. I just don't think I could do it. We've got eEnvelope, self-hosted email archiver, Octa Fiesta, subsonic proxy for integrating streaming providers as music sources. That's kind of cool. Self-hosted metrics, agnostic telemetry for self-hosted software. That's interesting sounding. Privacy first, agnostic telemetry for self-hosted software. Modern dark mode dashboard showing aggregated business metrics and system health. Is it just one? No, there's more pictures. Dashboard. Oh, orders, products, revenue. Okay, so this is something that you can, it looks like, customize for that kind of thing. Definitely not something that I would probably ever use. I don't know that it makes any sense for like my setup, but cool. Project updates, Booklore got a new license. NetAlertX got a new repository, and Trip got a new license. So that's cool. Self-hosted names you're probably mispronouncing. You guys, you should probably look through this. This is one of those fun things. I'll just share that there. Self-host. I actually learned that I had been unintentionally screwing this up with self-host. The like when I post things promoting the self-host newsletter, that sort of thing, there was actually a thing down here, right here. Yeah, self-host, it's pronounced self-host, and the S is never capitalized. I feel like he was targeting me in that, because I've always capitalized it until I saw this, and I try not to capitalize it. But it's kind of a cool thing that he's done here with giving pronunciations, for JO, Grafana, Giti, etcd, Inte. I feel seen, right? Yeah, I know there's duplicati. I actually really appreciate that this is a thing. I'm glad to have this here. I have a question. Price check with Olama. I don't know how that AI is integrated into there. I feel like that it's got some sort of a scraper. I don't know if it's triggered by AI or gets filtered through the AI. I don't know. But I don't have any AI set up, and I don't want to pay for any kind of like third-party thing with Claude or whatever. So I probably won't review that if it's AI dependent. Again, this isn't me saying, hey, this is crap. It's just I don't know. I don't care. I don't do enough price watching on things for it to matter to me. I know a lot of people like to do price shopping and comparisons and that sort of thing. But with the volatility of everything going on with tech, and I know you can use it for more than that, but with the volatility of the price of tech right now, it would be constantly changing, I feel like, or fast enough that if I see something that I want today, by the time I'm actually in a position or of the mindset to purchase it, It's the price would have changed so drastically that I don't know that it'd be worth just looking at it repeatedly on a dashboard to see the price change, unless I really wanted to keep track of it. But like, I feel like I would remember how much the price had changed from when I first looked at it, because I don't do a lot of online shopping over, like where I'm doing a lot of, I don't know, it's not something that I would probably use. Oh, that's really hot. Really good though. What else? My favorite self-hosted apps launched in 2025. We got to look back at some of my favorite self-hosted software. This is Ethan's, not mine necessarily. And I could crack eBay, right? Favorite software applications released in 2025. Pangolin, right up here is the image. Pangolin, they've been doing, they've actually been releasing content on their channel, talking about new updates and things. And man, they're going bonkers with some of this. Here you can see my subscription feed here. Where did it go? Did I scroll past it? It should up like a black. There it is. Pangolin 1.15 iOS and Android apps, device approvals, posture and fingerprint stability, and more. They are doing so much with Pangolin that I'm really, really happy for them. They've just kind of gone all in on it, and it looks like it's doing really, really well for them. So I'm really happy for those guys. This year, over 900 new apps crossed my desk to be featured on Self-Host Weekly, my weekly newsletter aggregating the latest and greatest in self-hosted content. Many of them were duds that never saw more than 1 to commits after launch, while several of them have already become staples across the self-host community. That's absolutely true. Arcane, is he doing? Oh, he's doing these in alphabetical order. That's cool. So Arcane is a modern Docker management deployment platform that has somewhat become the cooler younger brother of Portainer. Purple is greater than pink. It comes packed with most of the features users would need from such an app: image volume, network management, monitoring, and visualizations without the nagging enterprise restrictions. That's really cool. Bento PDF. I saw somebody asking about Bento PDF on Reddit, I think this morning, about some issues or some updates or something. Booklore, Docker Compose Maker. This popped up on my radar for the first time very recently. I don't know how I missed it, but I did. IronCalc, Logify, Mail Archival, Media Management. Oh, so some of these have more than one thing in it. Mail Archival, various, and there's a few different ones in there. I gotcha. Okay. So do you like Bento PDF? Actually switched to that from Sterling. That's pretty big. I know a lot of people were really looking at Sterling. So it's interesting that you switched. Sterling. What do you use when you want to remote into a VM, for example, in an Ubuntu desktop, instead of using console in Proxmox? Man, I haven't done that in so long. I'm trying to think what I used to use. I feel like I can see it, like in my brain. I don't know. Like I don't think I've done it in so long that I don't have an answer for you, unfortunately. Mesh Central, would that do it? There's a computer management website. Remote monitoring management website. Once you set up, you can install agents, perform remote desktop sessions and devices on the local network over the internet. There you go. Mesh Central seems like it would be something to look at. I don't know if we looked at that one ever. Mesh Central. No, let's try Mesh. Nope. I never looked at Mesh Central. Interesting. I believe that Mesh Central is now defunct. I mean, I don't think so. There was an update an hour ago. Yeah, there was a release 3 days ago on Mesh Central. Cool. People got lots of ideas there. That's cool. I just got updated recently to support phones and tablets. That's cool. I have no machine integrated into Remote Desktop Manager also, so I can have the device set up in RDM, and it just launches no machine. Well, there you go. A couple of steps to it, but I can manage Windows RDP, SSH, in from one app. Nice. Media management, note discovery. So many note discovery was one of the many note-taking applications released this year. I like that many is like italicized there. But specifically made the list given its resemblance to Obsidian, the community's favorite note-taking app. While Obsidian's community plugins have thrived as a result of its popularity, Note Discovery takes a swing at the juggernaut with its own plugin system, graph views, and plain markdown file storage for those looking to make the switch. That sounds cool. Source code. But again, this was only released in November, but being actively released, so that's good. What else we got? Again, Pangolin has dominated the reverse proxy conversation since its January launch for good reason. Its streamlined development for tunneled VPS servers have left janky WireGuard configurations, tail-scale funding, and security, and Cloudflare tunnels in the dust. The ability to also manage configuration via its web-based dashboard is icing on the cake. I agree with all of that. Papra is great. It's a new kid on the document management block with a minimalist approach to handling important records. And look, and just because, you know, a lot of people like these apps, a lot of people like other apps, and that's what I love about it. I get a lot of comments about, well, why would I use that over what I'm already doing? I don't know, man. Use what works for you. I've been telling people that for a long time, and people are always convinced that I'm trying to convince them to switch platforms. JFL Tech just became a member. Interesting. Well, thank you very much for that. That's really cool. I didn't see it. I only saw it over there. It didn't pop up here. So that was outside of the live stream. So thank you very much for that. Patchmon is a web-based Linux patch monitoring and centralization tool that can be deployed across environments and machines via outbound agents. That's cool. Posnote, Ribbit for analytics. SyncIn. SyncIn is a cloud storage sharing collaborative platform that makes the list because it's a fantastic attempt at replacing the supposedly bloated Nextcloud that so many users in the community complain about it. It might not be as pretty as its counterparts, but it's friendlier on resources and doesn't require external dependencies aside from a Maria database. That's cool. Let's look and see when its last update was. 4 days ago. That's amazing. Love seeing that. Man, I may have to take a look at this. That actually looks really cool. Man. Server shutting down. I guess that's what threw me. The public mesh server shutting down. Huh. Tanioff, if I wanted to use something, the OIDC or SSO stuff just doesn't make sense for me. I think we've talked about that a little bit in the past as far as I'm like the only one that logs in to any of my stuff, with the exception of the wife and I both use the what's it called, the shopping list app, and it's just a password, so I don't really need SSO for me in my setup. Upvote RSS. I wish I could get into RSS feeds. I just can't. Worker was kind of a cool one that I liked. I don't use it, but I thought it was kind of a cool thing. Zero Byte is a backup tool built on Restic that gives users a clean, minimal interface for managing and automating data backups. The platform offers encryption, scheduling, and multiple storage backends that make it a no-brainer for those not already invested in the ecosystems of another backup solution. Interesting. Built on Restic. Interesting. Schedule. Man, that looks pretty good. Still in the zero. So, and I appreciate this. It's still early and is subject to major changes from version to version. Developing the core feature and collecting feedback. Expect bugs. Please open issues. Love this. Love seeing this. I love seeing pictures. There's your Docker Compose to get it to run. Here's this with no remote mounts. Did this have remote mounts? Interesting. It's highly discouraged to run 0x on a server that's accessible from the internet, VPS or home server with port forwarding. If you do, make sure to change the port mapping and use a secure tunnel with authentication. That's a really, really good bit of information here. Don't try to point this on a network share. You'll face permission issues and strong performance degradation. Lots of really good information in here. This is cool. Yeah, and here's where you can simplified setup. Yeah, you might have to do some remote mounting to get certain things to work, but it looks really good. I dig that. So I feel like it's a strong disclaimer for be careful with this app for reasons. I mean, I appreciate the transparency of like this is still early development. It might not all of the right pieces might not be in place right now. Things may change. Security will hopefully get better. That's how I'm kind of reading all of this. And I appreciate them just being like, if you're going to make it public facing, take some steps to secure this a little bit better than using default ports and that sort of thing. Make sure to change the port mapping to this, so that way it can only connect with itself on that port. I didn't realize that that's what that was meant to be, that you're just kind of locking it to itself, which I know sounds dumb, but it's the only way I can explain it. Yeah, so that's good. Again, I'm not sure that it's something that I would use, but it looks like a good app, so that's good. I'm glad it made the list. Is that it? Yeah, that was the end of it. It was the end of that. What else do we have over here? Content Spotlight. Scanopy is a web-based network diagram and visualization platform with Scanopy. So I actually tried this at one point. I think I shared some screenshots somewhere in Discord about this, and it was fine, but with it missed a lot of stuff on my network. Like it missed a lot of stuff, and that may have changed between when I tested it and now. There may be different ways that it's probing networks and things like that, but there was it was missing a lot of stuff on my network as far as not only like apps on Docker or devices on subnets, because it would get certain apps on Docker and certain devices on different subnets, but it would miss entire swaths of things. So I wasn't as impressed with it as I would like to be, but I'm sure it'll get better over time. We have videos and podcasts. Doccan Deep Dive, the new Docker management tool explained by me, DB Tech. Docker Compose without the headache. Docker Compose Maker. We saw that up earlier in the newsletter here from servers at home. Again, Lawrence Systems did a Doccan, the easiest way I've found to manage and update Docker containers. Awesome Open Source did a video on Palmer. Christian Limpa did a Pangolin tutorial. And Alien Tech 42 says, I installed Unraid on this mini PC and it actually worked. That's interesting. I'm actually curious about this. Oh, it is muted. That's good. Just curious. Man, his videos always do really well. 35,000 views in the first week or so. That's great. No, his videos always do really well. He changed his studio since the last time I watched some of his content. That's cool. Looks really good. Looks really good. Oh, let's see. Should any app begin, right? The only service I'm still looking for is something to locally store all of my stuff on Google Drive. Nextcloud and Image was a no-go. That's fair. trying to think. Yeah, Christian is awesome. I mean, for like most of my stuff, like my phone, my phone, my wife's phone, they both get backed up to the Synology, one of the Synologies anyway. And then I don't like I could do the same thing as far as like I think Synology has an app called Files or something that would be a good Google Drive replacement. But I don't do a lot of that stuff. Like, I don't do a lot of document backup, so that doesn't really matter to me all that much. The only thing I really care about is that my phones, or our phones rather, get backed up in such a way that we can be confident that our if something happens to our phones, we've got a backup somewhere on the local network. The more time goes by, the less I need local docs. Yeah, I don't do a lot of document stuff. Like, I'll store stuff in my documents folder, but what I really should do is set up a share on one of the Synologies, and then map that as a local drive, and then remount or go into like come here, and then like you can go into like documents, right? Go to show to more options, and then go to properties, and then you can change the location of it. So I could, in theory, have a documents folder mounted to a NAS, and then mount this location to that mounted Z drive or X or Y, whatever, right? And that way everything would be kind of synchronized, and I could put documents here and have it synchronize from this computer to that computer and back and forth by putting everything on the Synology. Would be a good way to kind of centrally locate all of that stuff. I really should do that. And I think I've said I needed to do that in the past, but I've just never done it because I'm lazy, if we're being completely honest. And I have a lot of great ideas that I just never get to, and that's a me problem, I suppose. Oh man. Let's see. You do the same, yeah. I really should do something like that. I think the big problem that I would have, or the biggest problem I would have in that situation, and it's hard to see on here because I don't have any gaming on here, but like the game files from like Steam get stored in your, in fact, yeah, CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077, like, oh, that's benchmarks, but Rise of the Tomb Raider, that's also benchmarks or something. Yeah, that's also benchmarks. But a lot of the like INI files and that sort of stuff from Steam games get stored in the documents folder, and I have to wonder how that would go. Quiet Associations here, glad to have you here, man. Using image on a VM. The VM has a mount to my Unraid NAS. That's where the images go for image. Works out really well. That's great. I'm gonna see you for stealing my setup. That's funny. Yeah, I think gaming might be the only issue I would have with doing a mount like that, because I don't know how much. I don't know if those files are just loaded at game launch or if they're actively interacted with. So I don't know what that would look like. But I think that's the only problem that I would have if I were to go so far as to mount an SMB or share or something over to here. Yeah, I hate that. It's so frustrating when I tell my Steam to install games on my D drive, which is a separate NVMe, but there are still files that go to the docs folder on the Windows drive. Yeah, exactly. And that's how I've got my stuff set up on both my system and my wife's system. And yeah, it still stuff goes into the docs folder, and that sucks. The issue is doing that for Proxmox and OMV for image, huh? You inspired me to try image again on Unraid. I fought it last year and lost. It's bound to happen from time to time. Sometimes you gotta accept defeat, give it some time, let your brain clear out, try it again later. I've had to do that a lot with self-hosting and tech and then that sort of thing. So I hope you win. I hope you win that battle. I do. It's always nice to be able to win that battle after a while. So what I want to do here, do this real quick. Oops, if I could spell, do one more of these so I don't forget it this time. I'm making, I'm taking some notes over here with some URLs that I want to take a look at for some possible videos later. We also talked about Arcane. I feel like there was one other that we talked about early in the stream that I said I wanted to take another look at. It wasn't Komodo. I mean, we talked about Komodo briefly. Video ideas. I cannot think of what the other one was. It was another live stream that we did. And I will be damned if I can remember what it was. That sucks. I hate it when I do that. Hate it when I do that. I'm sure it'll come up later. I have to put image folders. Oh, gotcha. All right. Oh, man. Shit. Sorry, just reading notifications there. As much as I do love Unraid for NAS, I've never loved to run apps on it or VMs. I think it's a great OS for files, etc. I can run apps. I find it better to run apps outside of Unraid. That's fair, mainly for backups and uptime of the apps. Yeah, I because of the way I've got my stuff set up. I guess it's not as big of an issue now. It was a bigger issue before I made the switch. That I would have to, like if my server rebooted, I would have to, like the storage pool would come up usually after Plex would come up. So once everything was back up and running, I would have to like restart my Plex VM so that the FS tab in there could properly reconnect to the remote mount. It's less of an issue now. Not a non-issue, but still could be an issue a little bit. So, yeah. So my true NAS is just media right now. So close out. Oh, I already had that open. Interesting. That's the thing I find occasionally. Oh, you find that occasionally with the image VM, yeah. And luckily, and I've thought about doing something with. Oh, I had it and it ran away from me. Was it Tin Can? It wasn't. No, it wasn't Tin Can. It was. There's There's an app that you can basically prompt scripts by just tapping one of the buttons, and it's got a weird name. Docker container to run scripts with button press. I cannot think of what it's called. Pressing a button, I'm going to press a button. Yeah, somebody in here's got to have it. Olive 10, that's what it's called. I've thought about building or setting up an Olive 10 setup here, so that if that happens and I need to restart Plex, I can just go push the button and call it good. I would like to set something like this up at some point, but the I need to dig into the documentation a little bit, because everything would basically be a remote access via SSH or whatever. I don't know how that works, but I think this would be a lot of fun, or it would be really kind of cool to have. How do you execute it? I'm not sure what you mean, but I should probably do something with Yeah, I'm gonna need someone smarter than me to figure out all of 10, dude. That same, man. I tried it a couple of times, and it's the big issue that I had was remote connecting. And again, I'm sure that if I took the time to dig through, the docs on here, reverse proxies, action execution, reverse proxies installation guide, action customization. Yeah, like I need to find where the there's Home Assistant in there. That could be helpful via either Hacks or REST. But yeah, we need to dig through here and figure out how to do a remote connection on that, and then like Podman, Restart Plex. But yeah, it's the remote that I need to figure out, and I just haven't done that yet. So I guess I'm going to add. Really, did I take that out? No, you dumbass, dumb apps. Do that one as well. Only wish I had bought 128 gigs of SODIMM RAM before it was one. Yeah. Run Plex on my Home Assistant server because the media share stays put, and the only drawback is that it only works with QuickSync. Intel GPU for transcoding. Yeah, I've got my Intel Arc A310 or Spark A310 or whatever it's called. It's the Spark A310, and it works great, but that's a bit more than the QuickSync iGPU for setup, I think. But it works really well. Both of them work well. So super happy with that. Oh man, I can feel my voice. I think here soon we're gonna have to wrap this up, just so I can kind of save my voice for making content this week. So yeah, I want to thank you guys, all of you, for hanging out. We've got a couple of new channel members during the stream, so that was awesome. Love seeing that, obviously. So thank you guys for that. So six new members during the stream, so that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for that. If you enjoyed this stream, be cool if you gave it a like. That would be super helpful. You live in a universe where restarts are not required. I agree with JD. Come hang out in Discord. There's usually somebody in there chatting about something. We've got all kinds of different little sub rooms or whatever they're called, channels in there for all kinds of different topics, whether it's 3D printing or home labbing, or there was a lot of chat about F1 racing going on for a while. I don't know if that season's over or not, but yeah, if you want to come hang out and chat or in Discord, that'd be amazing. There should be links to that in the description down below. But yeah, no, again, thank you guys so much for hanging out, for being part of the community, and all of that. F1 shall return in a few weeks, or shall resume in a few weeks. That's great. A lot of channels I can still not find in Discord. I compared your list to mine. Yeah, so some of those channels are for like admins only. Like I didn't build the server. So there's a lot of other stuff that was in there that I have just kind of turned off because it was never getting any use. So yeah, my list will look a lot different than your list, just because a lot of that's just been kind of shut off in the background. But I leave it there just in case somebody brings it up and we get enough interest to turn them back on. Yeah, so come hang out in Discord if you want to chat. I will often post stuff about upcoming content there before it hits the videos and the live streams and the other social platforms. So if you want to chat, come hang out there. I'll be kind of all over the internet, whether it's in Discord or different social medias, as much as I feel necessary. But yeah, new content coming this week. I'm going to go take a look at the Camrui H2 that showed up earlier to see if maybe it'll be a good replacement for something I've got going on. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, however much of that you've got left. Again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for the last couple of hours. But yeah, I guess with all that said, I'll talk to you guys again here real soon. Thanks so much.